Hello, I'm very hot and at the Galileo Museum in Florence, and I'm just putting my stuff in a locker to start with. Here we go, which I always think is a good thing. Well, this is fascinating. These are all the scientific heritage sites in Florence, which includes where Galileo's daughters lived. They were up in the hills, and his home in his final years, I think I know where that is, it's up in Julia. And then different things that actually are celebrating maths and sciences. Now, I was in the Uffizi earlier, if we see here. It says that it had a mathematical sciences room. It was just portraits of people who did maths. It wasn't actually that interesting. The rest of the Uffizi I do reckon on. And then you've got geological museums and botanical collections and the convent of St. Marco. A lot of it is to do with Galileo. So far what we've done is encountered how people measured time in the old days, which involved shadows and using clocks that cast a shadow in order to say what the time was. And now we're in a room which shows how things move. This is from the 1600s. It was owned by the Medicis, and it's extraordinarily beautiful. Of course, they were taught by Galileo, so as you look around here, you get to see sort of old globes and what they thought that the world looked like. And there is a lot of these around, and I'm going to go in on one. Let me just see, I'll go in on this one. So drawing becomes something that is scientific when we realise that we can take measurements. And when we realise we can take measurements, you start getting sextants, compasses, and all the things we see here. And they're really very beautiful, again, 16th century. But this is in order that people can go to war and in order that they can get more things from more places. So it was because the Medicis thought that they could go to the West Indies and the East Indies and pick up things that people were picking up as well. So 15th century, sort of post-Columbus ideas. And these are all the instruments that you can see in there. They're really very, very beautiful. So they do lovely little videos that explain how each of these things works. So basically it's fitted with hoops, and they put a pendulum out, and what happened was they sent a ball down this particular thing. The hoops are at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, although they hit every 2 seconds because of acceleration. So it's an understanding, or the first understanding, of how mass and acceleration affects movement. And he was one of the first physicists to look at this. Obviously, we then go on to get Newton. This is really rather beautiful. So you can see using the pendulum that it takes exactly the same amount of time because the ball is speeding up owing to acceleration. And that looks at, I think this is a precursor to, I'm now on the second floor, and this has a bit on medicine, and then it goes into like experiments looking at electricity, and this includes stuff to do with lightning, and basically it's all physics machines that you really want to play with because you know that they're precursors or they're after Newtonian physics. So this one, I'm imagining you just get an equal and opposite reaction. and all of these are the same things. They do explain, again, let's do a little thing from here, which tells us about this particular machine here. So this is going to tell us about the Archimedean screw. It's a water-raising device attributed to Archimedes. Obviously, this is like 2,300 years ago. There we go. So it's how you bring water out of using a water wheel. Isn't that clever? And this is what's really good about this place, because you actually get to see how things work. And this is about mechanics. So here we have the pneumatics, the electromagnetism, and there's our example of the Archimedean screw. As we go around, you'll see this is an extraordinarily popular museum for a science museum. I've never been in one so popular. So used to wandering around on my own. Let's have a little look at what we have here. And finally, before I leave, this kind of sums up the whole place. So we get to look at some of the things he invented and understood with the mathematics behind it, including the look at how something goes further if it's on an inclined plane, and a look at parabolic trajectory. So it's a lovely little bit of maths to finish off, and we get to look at conic sections. Sum up. What place? Let's do a pod mass. So the place was very easy to find. It's on the river in Florence, and it's very pretty. It's very easy, and it's air conditioned. The optimum time, I would say, between 30 minutes and an hour and a half, depending on how much you want to go into things. The demographic is families. It's like full of families with kids that are probably too young to appreciate some of it. And the odd teacher and person who's kind of just enjoying it. Maybe just people who enjoy science or just are interested in Galileo. Maths focus, no, there's more of a physics focus than maths focus, and I think they could really up the maths content. Attractions, I think all the physics paraphernalia, so the actual, the explanation of how his different experiments works, really my favourite thing there. And the shop, excellent, really, really good books about science and about Galileo. And overall, it is a good thing. It was just a really big shock for something to not be, not have, it had so many people in.